Milling. We used to think that metal is an extremely solid, heavy material that's quite difficult to process in any way. Well, it turns out that there are machines that can cut it easily and effortlessly, as if working with soft butter. The incredibly satisfying manufacturing process you see on your screen is the work of a numerically controlled milling machine. A milling cutter rotating at tremendous speed cuts off the excess aluminium to produce a sleek, small quadcopter from a solid block. And it does it with a precision and speed that is simply unachievable for humans. We don't even know what's more enjoyable to watch here, the cutting itself or the chips that fly in all directions. Woodworking. Of course, milling can be done not only with metal. Here you can see how a similar cutter is processing a block of wood, and it must be said that the task is no less difficult. On the contrary, working with wood is a lot more complex. It is indeed softer than metal, but it has a large number of fibers, so the edges are hard to process. However, the machine you see on the screen has no such problem at all. The rotary cutter handles the task with ease. It rounds off the edges, makes recesses and holes with extreme precision, and even cuts off a piece with a circular saw at the end. Deep paving cleaning. If you like the way the cutter blew chips off the workpiece at the very end, then wait until you see the next piece of equipment on our list. It's no secret that a thorough cleanup session can be a truly unique experience. You must agree that there's no more pleasant sight than the appearance of shining streaks of cleanliness on a surface that was dirty and dark. And road sweepers are the kings of satisfying cleaning processes. Just look at what it does. Vegetation disappears from the asphalt and paving stones literally in front of your eyes. Just a few minutes, and the surface is returned to its pristine, perfect appearance. Laser metal cutting. Not enough fire? Oh, not for long. Because this metal laser cutting machine will give you plenty of it. Of course, it's not really fire, more like sparks. This is another piece of equipment that cuts metal like butter, and there are countless variations on what you can get with this kind of laser. Stripes, squares, crosses, intricately shaped holes. Nothing seems impossible for this machine. And yes, this is how the numerous metal parts that surround us in our daily lives are created. Even the type and thickness of the workpiece don't matter. Whether it's 1mm or 20mm, the work is fast and very satisfying. Laser welding. No matter how cool and sophisticated the machines that work with metal are, some still can't function without human assistance. For example, this is how laser welding and deposition welding is done. You've got to agree, the process looks really fascinating. First of all, this work has to be very precise. The master even has to look through a special lens to understand just what he's doing. And secondly, just look at how easily the metal rod melts. Just a few moments, and all that's left in its place is a shiny puddle. Dyeing silicon. Not only metal is capable of pleasing the eye with the beauty of its production processes. Let's see something that we've never shown on our channel before. Here is a machine that masterfully performs the coloring of silicon. The rotating rollers repeatedly squeeze, press and stir it until the dye is evenly distributed throughout the mass. The process is aesthetically pleasing from start to finish. Personally, at first, we couldn't take our eyes away off the coloured stains on the transparent material, and then we were fascinated by how rich and bright the final colouring turned out. Engraving jewellery. And now, you'll learn how all sorts of memorable, touching inscriptions are created on rings and bracelets. The engraving can be performed with laser equipment, but we personally prefer mechanical machines. Experts use a small sharpened mill to engrave fine and graceful letters and numbers on the surface. The principle of operation is somewhat similar to what we've seen a little earlier today, but just at a much smaller scale. And frankly, it's hard to believe that something like this can be created by a soulless machine. Brush tufting. Okay, let's face it, we jumped to conclusions at the beginning of this video. There is, after all, a more enjoyable show than removing moss. So, we now believe that there's nothing more satisfying than machines that work with incredible precision. Like, for example, this brush tufting machine. It drives the bristles into the hole so quickly that the video had to be slowed down several times. Metal bending. But at the end of the day, we want to keep talking about metal, right? But don't worry, because there are many incredibly pleasant production processes that involve metal. Why? Well, metal is a popular material that's used to make countless different specialized details. This, for example, is how complex internal parts of professional equipment are created. Sheet metal is laid on curved molds, pressed down, and voila! It takes on the same shape. Vacuum blasting. If you still think it's impossible to remove rust from metal, you are mistaken. There is in fact a way, and you're seeing it on your screen right now. From the outside it looks like magic, we agree, but in fact it's much simpler. Right above the surface of the tank, in a chamber, a vacuum environment is created, in which the metal is treated with abrasive particles. They give the surface a pristine appearance, removing any contaminants in seconds. Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.